stay. Look, look. You see this? Look. Okay. No bark.
All right, let's get the show on the road. All right. Would not be my podcast without completely messing up the very first line. Welcome to Charlotte's House podcast. I'm Charlotte, and I'm coming to you from the shores of Lake Charlevoix in northern Lower Michigan. I'm way out of practice, and this is a podcast about quilting. I have some knitting to show you today, mostly works in progress, and tons of quilting. So today is definitely a quilting podcast. I recorded a video maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago now, and tried to up my game technology-wise and got out the camera again. If you have followed my podcast, you have heard the whole saga about all the technical difficulties and this and that and everything. So I got out my Canon DSLR camera, and I've got a fancy fuzzy microphone and the shoe mount, and just had a great old time. The Canon only lets you record 30 minutes at a time. So I even had my timer going, still blabbed on for who knows how long at one point after the camera had stopped. And and I had unboxed, which I've got some other ones that I haven't opened yet, a quilting box, and I had opened it on the video, and of course that was part of the part that was not recorded. So then I thought, all right, I'm going to record. I'll re-record what's in the box, but I'm not going to act surprised like just opening it. So I talked about how the story I just told you, and I've already opened this box, but here's what, and then my heart wasn't in it anymore. Didn't like, and I finally got everything loaded onto my desktop so I could edit it, and then I'm trying to get it edit, and I was just like, my heart wasn't in it, and why do this? This is for fun. Why do this if your heart isn't in it? You're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to come back. So today we are in the mood to talk to you, to my iPad by myself. I'm in the mood today, and it's finally raining. It is a dark gray, like you need a light on in the room to see anything. I don't have extra light on today, just the room lights. So maybe my face might be a little dark, but we're going to go with it. So we'll do it the usual order of my podcast. We'll do yarn and knitting first, which will be quite short, and then quilting. So let's get into it. I think I only have one finished object. This is, and of course I don't have my paperwork, and totally unprepared knitting wise. Oh wait, no, here it is right here. I've got a whole tray. Okay, let's see. I now need my reading glasses to read. Yes, okay, I am prepared. How about that? This is the Volcano Trail cowl by Maxim Sear. And I'll just show you this picture here. You may have seen this around. And I was in the mood to take a break from the sweater I was making. What was the sweater? Pretty sure I showed it off last episode, but it's all done. Montrealer. Thank you for those of you who were shouting at the screen. It's the Montrealer. Okay. So, and if I didn't show it finished, but I thought I did, but if not, I'll show it next video. Which might be in 5 months, who knows? But in my defense, part of the reason is it's gardening season, like no nail polish, see? It's gardening season and there's dirt under my fingernails. And so I've been spending 6 or 8 hours a day out in the garden. So anyway, the yarns I used for this, I started with, I had this yarn left over. I've used this before. This is, I used it in my Magnolia Summer. It's Something Owl out of Texas. And it's an older colorway, so I probably no longer, if you really want to know, go back a few episodes to when I made the Magnolia Summer. So this was in my stash. So I used this one first, and then I used this one. So these next 3 colors I really can't take credit for because these were, I've shown them off before. They were part of the West Knits Yarn Along. So they were dyed as a fade. So is that cheating? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's my cowl. But this first one I added, so I kind of designed it a little bit as far as the colors. Let's see, Fruvalborg SE, is that Sweden? .se. Merino Swirl, 80/20 Superwash. Hand dyed especially for Stephen and Penelope. It doesn't have a year on it, so I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I did not sign up this year. Just, if you've watched a previous episode, the huge disappointment with the La Bien-Aimée portion. I mean, that's why I signed up last summer, was for La Bien-Aimée and all of her gorgeous speckles. And I mean, half the yarn I thought was bare yarn. But anyway, okay, we're not going to worry about that. So I did this one first, then that one. And actually the yarn is really, it's a little muted, a little gray, I would say, compared to real life, but it's still pretty good. And then this one used up a lot. So there's that one. And then this was final color. So those are the colors. So I added the white one on the end, and the next 3 were dyed together as a set. And then if I really wanted to add this color, but ended up not needing any more yarn, but I'm thinking about making another one. I will use these same exact yarns, and because this one I use the most of, there will hardly be any of that one. I might be able to get this one in on a second one. And I was already planning on making a second one anyway, but I have the, it's not called a, is it called a Ninja? The spin dryer, which if you're a yarn dyer, or if you just hand wash a lot of your knits, I would highly, highly recommend getting the Ninja spin dryer. But don't leave your hand knits in there for too long. I put this in and forgot about it, and it probably spun in there for a good half hour, which means it's now all stretched out. It's supposed to be a little more firm, should I say, a little more shaped, so it's all, but it's fine. I might give this one away. I know people who don't like things wrapped tightly around their neck. You know who you are. I mean, so it isn't bad. It's perfectly fine. Just before I spun it for a half an hour, this was not like this. This was firmer, around the neck. But it's fine. It's gorgeous. Love the pattern. A great little, a great project on the side. These colors are held double. So you start up here at the top. So I held this one double. So I held yarn from the inside and outside of the cake. And then you drop it, add one of the next one. You know how that goes if you're blending colors together. I learned a new technique, the top stitch. I've never done that before. So that's good. So yes, the Volcano Trail cowl by Maxim. I'd highly recommend it. And it's summertime and humid, so we're going to take that right off. But I think that is my only finished object of the day. I must have shown off the Montrealer last when I threw away the last recording that I did. We're not going to worry about that today. So there's that. I do have works in progress. I haven't touched any of them in quite a while, simply because, I don't know, I was kind of, mojo kind of went downhill for a while, and I was too excited to be with my seeds. I started probably over, oh my gosh, probably over 600 tomato plants. And I ended up having a roadside stand, and the flower shop that I work for sold some of the tomato plants for me. And they all found homes. I mean, I put there's probably 130 tomato plants in our garden here at the house. I put another 20 up at the garden at the farm, where all my pumpkins are growing exponentially well. And sold the rest, or gave them away, or something. So gave them to the senior center. So our friends took them down to their senior center downstate. So it was good. I super enjoy starting seeds. And anyway, you're not here for gardening. I'll make a separate episode for gardening. So let's do works in progress. Let's see. This is in my fat wool bag, Anna Maria Horner fabric. One of my favorite fabric designers. So I was in the mood to make some socks. So I have this pattern. I want to say this is free, but I don't know for sure. Spring Fern socks. A knitsnknishes. Knitsnknishes designed by Susan Lutskey. So it's in black and white. They're very lacy. This yarn is from my stash. So yes, I am still using yarn from my stash. Doing very well. Cosmic Helix by Primrose Yarn Company. This is the tag. I hope you can't see that text that just came in. At least it was a text about the weather. Oh, should I tell you what kind of Cosmic Helix Zipline is the color? Again, I've had this in here forever, so who knows if she still has it. Just a really super fun summer color. Again, this lighting is I didn't set up my whole lighting thing today. Pretty true. It just grays it up a little. The iPad adds a lot of gray to colors for some reason. So really fun summer color. And so here we are so far. I think I finished the leg on that one. This is the second time around because I totally messed up the lace pattern at the top, and it was obvious that it was messed up. So I restarted. But yes, I've talked again. I'm a DPN girl. So this is as far as I'm going to go on this one. But I do need, I think I've broken, I went down a needle size because we've talked about my skinny feet, and estimated 0. They say you can, the pattern says you can use anywhere from a 2 millimeter to a 2.75, which is a US 0 to US 2. And oh my goodness, let me mute this, I'm sorry. And I'm using, I don't know, probably a 2.0 millimeter, because the last socks I made fit great, but they're really loose. I kind of feel like if I could jiggle my leg, they'd fall right off. So I wanted these to be a little tighter because lace obviously opens up. But what I was going to say, I need to see, I haven't gotten that far yet because of gardening, but I'm going to get out a second set of these needles and pull from the inside of the ball, get this far. So it's not quite 2 at a time, but I do, and I've explained this before, I like to do section, you know, one part of the pattern, repeat it, then do the next part, repeat it. So that way, by the time you get, and I do, this is cuffed down, as you can tell, obviously. Usually when I do my own personal vanilla sock, I like toe up. So then by the time you finish the sock, all you have to do is finish the second one and Bob's your uncle. Instead of then finishing a sock and, oh my gosh, you got to start all over again to make the second one. So that is one work in progress. Very happy with it. This one, this is a bag. This bag's by, I bought this one. Who is this bag by? Oh, Ellison Lane. It's a cute bag, drawstring, just has the one handle, has, this is old bag, old, but has pockets on all 4 sides, on front and the back. So this is a crochet pattern. I wanted to just change it up a bit and crochet. And I've been wanting to use up my minis. Because as you saw my holiday episode, I had, well, first, the very first mini set that I actually opened, Advent, was Trilogy Yarns Hocus Pocus Advent for last October, October, whenever it was, and which I thoroughly enjoyed. And that was, Advents are a lot of fun. And then and the orders are already closed for this year. I mean, you've got to get on these Christmas Advents. I reordered Chelsea Lux Yarns. I reordered her Christmas Advent. Thoroughly loved it, and I've shown it to you. And of course, I don't usually use minis outside of, I've used one for a couple socks, heels and toes and heels. So I've been trying to find a project, and you know, of course, I do have a basket of scraps back here that I'd like to do a granny stripe blanket, but I didn't want to just take these glorious minis and throw them into which, I mean, they're perfect for that. They're absolutely perfect for a granny stripe crochet blanket. But I kind of wanted to feature them on their own and something else, so I've been searching and searching. And I found this crumpled up pattern. This is a crochet pattern. I want to say this is free also, but I'm not sure. This is Just Feel Festive. It's a crochet shawl. It's a parallelogram shape, and it is designed for minis. So Just Feel Festive by Caleisha Ryan, Quirky Monday Crafts. Oh, here, I can show you this side. So there it is, all bunched up. So it's basically a granny stripe in a interesting shawl pattern, the parallelogram. Okay, now the pattern wants you to hold the yarn double. And she says you should get approximately 4 to 5 rows of the color. Well, I held it double and I was getting 2 rows. And so I didn't, and basically 2 skeins of this held double. I just wasn't happy with it. It was too stiff. It was thick. It was stiff. And I like a longer shawl this way. And it seemed like it was pretty narrow. And I wanted it longer this way. So I think I've ripped this apart 4 times. I don't know. Do it bigger hook, smaller hook, single. I think this is going to work. But this is, so I've got a mixture in here of the Trilogy Yarns Hocus Pocus and Hue Loco fade set. And I don't know if it was a fade. A Hue Loco set that I've had in my stash for I don't know how long. And it's behind here, so I can't get it, the wrapper. But I'll put it down in the show notes. I showed it when I bought it, like I don't know how many episodes ago. But so, I don't know, the colors are totally, together are outside of my wheelhouse. And maybe I should have done quilting first, because then the quilts will be down and I could get all my yarn things out that I want to show you. But I went through maybe 5 minis and ripped it out. So this is now the ball of yarn from 5 minis. And I'm starting over. I think this size is a good size. So this is what I have so far. So these are both Trilogy Yarns colors from the Hocus Pocus. So I'll just have to show you as I go through. Oh, let's see, is this a Hue Loco label? Yep, Hue Loco Mini Dry. No, it doesn't really tell me what it was. So I don't know, I guess I really can't show you too much about this project, but it was this long and I took it out. It was too short, I just wasn't happy with it. So I think there's enough of a drape, and so it'll be mostly Trilogy Yarn Hocus Pocus with a few Hue Loco, and there's 1 or 2 from my stash thrown in just to break up the color. And crochet goes quickly. Once the only thing you have to memorize for the pattern is what to do on the edges. But again, I haven't touched it in a while. And this next one was a spur-of-the-moment new project. Oh, I don't even have it printed out. I can't even, maybe I shouldn't even bother telling you, because I started this on my phone at a fiber festival. We actually had an in-person fiber festival. I'm on the committee that puts on the Tip of the Mitt Fiber Festival. It's at the Petoskey Fairgrounds in northern Lower Michigan in the first weekend of June. And talk about planning something when you have no idea how to plan it. Back in February, Michigan was the hot spot in the entire country, and we were getting 4,000, 5,000 cases a day, and it was just out of control. Everything was locked down again. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't eat in a restaurant. And here we are trying to plan, do we plan a fiber festival for June? Shouldn't things be better by June? And then we're in March. Well, what do we tell our vendors? And so we decided, you know what? We're going to go for it. And we're so glad that we did, because things just progressively got better, better, and better. And the governor wasn't going to lift restrictions until July. But then we were down to 100 cases a day consistently. And one day we had 40 cases in the entire state of Michigan. We have 9.9 million people in the state of Michigan. now we're up to, and then I think last week we had the last numbers they put out, we were averaging 250 cases a day. So we'll see. I keep track of the numbers. I just like to know what's going on. But anyway, this, I probably shouldn't even show it, but what I'm using is this yarn. This is our yarn, Roberta Ray Fibers. This was yarn that we went to the farmer in Bel Air, bought the raw wool, took it to the local fiber mill and had them make this yarn for us. So I would say this, we call it heavy worsted, but I guess you could call it Aran weight. And for whatever reason, this base has not been a huge seller for us, and it was expensive to have it done. So we don't have current plans to redo the Roberta Ray Michigan line, but you never know. But this is what it is. It's Carnival. And just to tell you about the line, it's Merino Lincoln. So it was the breed of sheep, Merino Lincoln. So I'm going to make a, let me see if I can find it, a chunky sweater. And like I said, I was sitting there, it was a little slower, and I've been staring at this. I've been waiting for somebody to buy it, and nobody bought it, nobody bought it, nobody bought it. And this is one of two last colorways that we have. We have a blue. We have 3 skeins of a blue left. So if someone wanted to make a chunky sweater, go to Roberta Ray Fibers. And this is it, Gossamer Twist by Sabina Harnage is the sweater I'm going to make. Out of this. So I didn't get very far, and the pattern calls for bulky or Aran held double with mohair, which I suppose would fill up the holes. So I have some undyed mohair, but I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do. This already has a nice halo to it, and I thought adding this, it would just be like the whole time. But I got as far as the, what's this called? Collar. But it really is, I don't know why no one has purchased this. It is knitting up beautifully. The colors are so pretty. I think it'll just be gorgeous as a big chunky sweater. So that's also a work in progress. I mean, the collar, I think, took half an hour. That's the beauty of bulky yarn. Okay. Future works. I told you about the minis. So this is the set that I got from Chelsea Lux Yarns last year for her holiday. And my plan is, and I probably have it printed out. You have seen this, is Andrea Mowry's stripes. So, but her stripes are probably an inch wide. And the pattern calls for normal skeins of yarn. So, and I've got these in the order that I want them. But I'm going to start with the gold over here, go through the top row. But lovely colors. And I thought, wouldn't this collection make that beautiful striped sweater? However, with the mini, I'm guessing, I don't know, that each stripe may be about 4 rows wide. Because they're minis, because I want the sleeves to match. So, and of course, I don't know, I haven't read through the pattern yet, but when I did my other 2 striped sweaters where the stripes matched on the sleeves, I used 50% of the color on the body, so I weighed it, and then 25 on one arm and 25 on another. Well, 25% of a mini, hopefully I get 4 stripes. But this one is waiting here, all organized. Oh yeah, so this is my last color. So I'm going to start here, go through here, And then you can't really see the bottom colors very well, but and then go here so that this will be the top, the neck, this will be the waist. But it was a really nice, it was fun, Advent. Okay. Sorry. There. I want to say Caleb from the Bearded Pearl made a shawl, and he tried to use up each color each day as he unwrapped them. I think he gave himself carpal tunnel. But all right, I don't think I've bought anything knitting wise. I got a stack here of quilting fun, so let's get into it. 30 minutes, excellent. So let's go. So if you are only here for the yarn, that's it for knitting and yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. The next episode probably will also be light on yarn. I don't know, but I also have plans on making a garden video. It's going to be Dahlia Palooza here in another few weeks. So definitely want to get it and show you my gorgeous tomato plants and the pumpkin. I just got to get out there and show you the garden. So we will do a gardening episode also. So that's it. Thank you so much. And now let's move on to quilting. So as you can see, it is completely finished. Completely finished. So excited. This is the Lo and Behold Stitchery quilt, the Knitted Star. Oh, look, you can really see the quilting showing up. This thing is quilted within an inch of its life. So we've got basically matchstick quilting in the white snowflake part. I've got pebbles in the corners here. I call this ribbon candy, but it isn't ribbon candy. It's, oh gosh, where you just kind of go, you can see it. I did that in the sashing between the squares. I just did a directional fan in all the little squares. That point out, those are all going in the same direction. This, I just made up my own little matchstick triangle going in all four corners. And then in these little squares that were off by their own, I just did a simple all four directions and then diagonal snowflake pattern. I don't know what you'd call it. And my mom was able to come visit finally, and yes, this was on the guest bed when she came to visit, but no, I did not send her to bed with a pair of scissors because I still have not trimmed all the threads off. But so it's bound. I did a self-binding, which means on a quilt you cut the backing larger than the quilt. For instance, as you can see, I like a very narrow, very fitted binding. And so I think I went off 1.5 inches, folded that overhang. So, oh my gosh. So let's, anyway. So I cut the background 1.5 inches wider than the quilt, which takes a while because you have to use scissors. You can't use your rotary cutter. So I had to cut the top and the batting in a nice straight line without cutting the backing fabric. Actually, I lie. I completely lie. This is a regular binding. It is not a self-binding, so we'll skip that conversation. I don't even know what they're barking at. So it's a regular binding. No, if it's for any quilts that I give away, I do a hand, unless it's for a child and it's going to get washed 5,000 times. I hand stitch my binding. But this one, I just wanted to use the quilt. It was so much work. So I machine stitched the binding, and anytime there was just a car here and now they're leaving. I don't know if I have no idea. I didn't hear the doorbell, so I'm not sure what they were doing. I try to do just a straight line, it never works. It looks awful. So I take advantage of all the patterned stitches on my sewing machine, and I pick a pattern and pretty much I sew on the entire binding. So this was basically I mimicked this pattern on the binding, and there was a pattern for that on my sewing machine. But I highly, highly recommend Lo and Behold Stitchery if all of her patterns are like this. It was amazing the lack of extra fabric at the end. I mean, this monster used yards and yards and yards of fabric, and I had very, very, very little left. So the thought, the thinking that went into this, and the mathematics that went into this, and the planning to maximize every single strip of fabric that you cut across the width of the fabric was, I noticed it right away, and I appreciate it, and it's impressive. It is impressive the planning that went into maximizing the use of the fabric with this pattern. So if all of her patterns are like that, you can be rest assured that you're not going to be left with stacks of fabric, unless you like stacks of fabric. I mean, everybody uses scraps for something. But anyway, I noticed that and really appreciated the thinking and the planning and the mathematics that went into the design of this quilt. So let's go on to quilt number 2, finished. Ta-da! Oh, wait, instead of yell. I'm sorry. So this is, you've seen this as I've been working on it, but this is the finished quilt. No name yet. I have no idea. But this was my design, and the inspiration came from Encyclopedia of Pieced Quilt Patterns. Now this is an old school heavy bound hardcover book published in 1993. Oh, it's almost vintage in itself. So, and I've got a couple marked here, and again in 1993, you know, a lot of publications were still drawing things, and so it's black and white. And this is the entire book. So they have researched, there's thousands of, over 4,000 block patterns. There's over 4,000 quilt patterns in this book. And what they try to do is make a good faith effort to research the history of all 4,000 quilt blocks. And so this is the one that caught my eye. Obviously I've got a number of tags there, but that's the one that caught my eye. So this is hand-drawn, no measurements, no nothing. And let me see if there's a history. 3808, Star of the East. It's also called Circle Saw. So Star of the East was attributed to Danner/Arkison in 1934. Circle Saw by K.C. Starr, 3807. C3807. Morning Star. Don't know. But anyway, so an amazing amount of research, like a lot of these blocks, 1929, 1933, 1918, 33. But all kinds, it's organized by pattern or shape. So I took that, drafted my own pencil and paper pattern. So this could be one of those, tell me you grew up, well, we got our first personal computer when I was a senior in high school. So this is kind of like, show me you grew up before the personal computer, before personal computers, by not telling me when you grew up. Here's my quilt pattern. So what I want is I want to make this modern. So this was my original quilt pattern. This is 22 inches square. And you can see I bothered to pencil in just one. So I hand drafted that just by looking at the pattern in the book. But you'll notice that these squares, of course, are much smaller. That's because my sample quilt I had a jelly roll, Kate Spain. It's from like 2015 or something. I've had it forever. So you can't get it anywhere. So please, this fabric is gone. But it's Kate Spain fabric. I think it was called Central Park, Central Park, something like that. And I had jelly rolls. Well, jelly rolls are strips of the width of the fabric by 2.5 inches. So that's what I had to work with. And I decided that's what I was going to use to test out the pattern to see what I liked. And so that's why the sample block is much smaller than the actual pattern. But so I'm ready once I'm done gardening. So this fall, I've already shown you the fabric. I'm going to use a Sharon Holland, her Kismet fabric. And my favorite background is Kona Solids in Snow. I bought a whole bolt of it. And so I'm going to make the 22-inch extra large modern blocks. But anyway, I'm thrilled with it. I machine quilted it also, again, with 1 inch of its life. That's what I like. Just a basic swirl pattern, just all over swirls. And I had just a gray, you can't probably see the polka dots very well. Oh, but you can really see the quilting. It's a pale gray, medium gray with white polka dots on the back. But you can really see all the swirls there. But I'm excited. But that's the plan so far. And I've never written a quilt pattern before. I've just kind of done my own thing. So that will be interesting. And I suppose I'm going to have to learn a program, but that's the problem. When you don't know these computer programs and all you want to do is design this and write up a pattern, it takes you all day just to figure out how to start the program. I mean, it's just so discouraging. Technology is wonderful as long as it works, but if you have no idea how to use it, it gets discouraging. But we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, so right now, these are my cutting directions. So here you go, cutting directions. 2 jelly rolls, 1 charm pack. All set, go for it. Okay, so let's get into some fun things here. Oh, okay, so right now I need to insert a snippet of the video. I think my sister-in-law is out of town, but I made her new baby girl a quilt. It is from the book. Well, I just show you the whole clip. This is part of the previous video that I talked about that I wasn't happy with, but I don't have the quilt here, and I'd like to show it because it's darling. So here is previously recorded of my 3rd finished quilt. So we're going to move right on to, I've had this book for a while. I don't even know how much of my design quilt you saw, but I've shown it before. So I have a 3rd quilt that you know nothing about. It is from this book, Sunday Morning Quilts. Oh, and Clark hit the camera. Sunday Morning Quilts by Amanda Jean Nyberg and Cheryl Arkison. It's from 2012, so I've had this for quite a while. Darling little quilts in here, scrappy quilts. But this is the one that I've had my eye on for a while. It's called Daydreams. And my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, So my husband is the oldest of 6 kids. There are 5 boys, and his sister is the youngest out of 6 kids, and she is the only girl. And she and her husband have 3 boys, and tomorrow they are expecting a girl. So I decided to make the quilt from this book. I ordered Kona solid. This is Primrose. And the jelly roll strips are jelly rolls that I've had forever. I can't even tell you which pattern it is. It's an old one. But it's absolute, I love it. It's darling. It was so refreshing to work with this pretty pink. And then on the back, I used this polka dot from my stash. You'll remember that from the circular quilt that I made. And I didn't have quite enough, so I used some more of the strips on the background. I was really excited about this quilt so I could practice some mixing patterns. So in the jelly roll strips, I did a maze where you just go around and around and around. And then in the pink, hopefully you can see it, there are swirls, and I made them look like roses by adding leaves. And then in between all the swirls and leaves, I used pebbles to fill in the space. So I'm very happy. It was a lot of fun. Here's a nice big swirl. So yeah, this will be going to the farmhouse tonight because little baby girl arrives tomorrow. And finally, I came in on time. Okay, so that one was a lot of fun. I've wanted to make that quilt for a very long time. I loved the pink. It was darling. Absolutely darling. So, and I showed you the book in the clip, I'm pretty sure, so we don't have to worry about that. So, next what I will do is insert a new recording of the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee quilt that I'm making. This is a block of the month through the Fat Quarter Shop. I'm enjoying it very much. The blocks are very easy to get through. They, you know, and I've talked about this in my last episode, the amount of extra fabric is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. But it comes in a pack like this. Comes, and then you need the book. And so here is a video of the blocks I've completed so far. All right, so here are the blocks I have finished so far. This is the Shine On Block of the Month by Bonnie and Camille. And it's cute. It really is. The aqua, the red, those are their signature colors. I love the different blocks. So it is darling. I'm pretty much caught up. The only thing I have to say, so this is published by Fat Quarter Shop. And Kimberly Jolly is the owner of Fat Quarter Shop. I watch her podcast also. Part of her thing is that it's important for her to send the extra fabric. So that's why there's loads of fabric, extra fabric from this block of the month. And then I forget, because I've never had to do this before, any block that you make, each section, she has directions in there to trim it. So for instance, on this cross pattern here, when you make this little 4 patch, and you make the little 4 patch, you have to remember to trim those down to size, because if, like me, you just keep going, it's totally going to be the wrong size. So for instance, this, where's my finger? There it is. This block is 1/4 of a block. I made the second one to sew over here on this side. Well, it goes over on this side actually, and the second block was much bigger than this one. And I'm thinking, what in the world is wrong? I don't understand. Well, then it occurred to me, this block I trimmed, as you're supposed to do. This block I did not. So now I have to rip it up, rip it out, trim it, and sew it back together. So that's the only thing I would say I don't like about fat quarter shop patterns, is that it's important to her to have everything exact and perfect seams and all of this stuff. And so every time you do a little section, she wants you to trim it. And that takes too much time. But you have to do it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing a fat quarter shop publication, that to read the directions, because most likely you're going to have to trim the block to get it to fit. But other than that, I am happy with it. Can't wait to use it with Blue Betty next summer, because it won't be done this year, of course. It's a block of the month. But anyway, that's it for this quilt. Okay. Hopefully I'm back on my iPad, which is much easier to edit for people who have no idea what they're doing. Hopefully I'm able to insert these clips and at least get through it without completely ruining the entire podcast. So let's see. Here's, we'll wait on this because I haven't started it yet. It's a machine quilting quilt along with Angela Walters. Well, I've mentioned it, so. It's called Flora and Foliage Free Motion Challenge Quilt Along. Whether or not they have the kits anymore, I don't know, but it's free on her YouTube channel. Quilting is My Therapy. Oh, no, not that one. And I went ahead because I wanted to improve my machine quilting skills, so I thought this would be a good thing to follow along with her. I did buy the panel. You don't have to. You can use whatever you want. And these aren't necessarily colors I would use, but so there's the panel. And I'll just use whatever fabric I have in my stash for the back. And I really wanted to practice my free motion quilting because she goes through, and there are a number of patterns that she introduces you to, and you pretty much follow the pattern of the fabric. And so I wanted to learn how to combine a wider variety. Now, of course, in my Lo and Behold quilt, I managed to combine another number of stitches very well, I think, personally. But I just wanted to expand, learn something new, learn some new patterns, and I also decided to try Aurifil thread, and so I bought the matching thread pack. But I haven't started yet, obviously. And here, this is something, yeah, so these are all purchases. So now we're, oh, I'm doing very, very well on my Jen Kingwell. I was online, I must have been on Instagram, and Jen Kingwell was offering another block of the month, and I got all excited, and I just love her fabric collections and the colors she puts together, and so I got all excited. I'm like, oh, I really like this. I should get it, and I should get it, and I'm like, put the brakes on. Wait, you already have a Jen Kingwell block of the month from 2017 that you're still cutting out, and I don't even know if it was another template block of the month, and I thought, whoa, Nelly, never again am I doing a template block of the month. Never again. So luckily I stopped myself from doing that, because I've already got this block of the month. I've got the previous Jen King. I'm fine for blocks of the month at the moment. So I didn't do that, but So this was a is this a new pattern? 2019, relatively new. And of course this happens, I think it was 2 weeks before July 4th. You know what? I don't have a July 4th quilt. I would really like to make a 4th of July quilt. And really, 2 weeks before the holiday, you decide you want to make a holiday quilt. But next year, I thought this was really cute. Stars and Stripes Forever by Fig Tree and Company. Fig Tree and Co. Joanna Figueroa. I think it's her Figueroa. But so that's a purchase. And we'll just go over some fabrics that I just got. Lady Bell Fabric, which is a fabric shop. I don't know where they are. I want to say they're in Texas, but I don't know. Missouri? That quarter shop's in Texas. I don't know where Lady Bell Fabric is. Love their fabric choices online. Love their fabrics online. Oh, you know what? I have no idea who this designer is. Huh. I probably didn't save the, do any of these have a selvage that I can tell you? I don't know. Well, that's not good at all. I'll have to locate it and put it in the shop notes. But I thought that was a darling collection. Has some oranges, some navies. No idea what I'll use it for, but I think maybe I thought I would do a patriotic pillow with it. Actually, you know what would be really cute is I have a new pattern book. Fat Quarter Shop is doing a sew along for pillows. And you need the book called A Scrapbook of Quilts. This is by Joanna Figueroa, a Fig Tree Co., and Carrie Nelson. I'm not sure if Carrie Nelson has a business or what she is, but this is published by the Fat Quarter Shop. Designers, editor-in-chief, yeah. Anyway. And they are doing the pillows. And a lot of people did, the first week was last week or 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people did the spools in here, the pillow with red, white, and blue fabrics. And I thought, again, the day before the 4th of July, I want a red, white, and blue spool pillow. But darling, darling pillows. Look at that one. That's why I mainly got it, was for the pillow patterns. It's hard to see the spools there, but, well, here, right on the cover. That's one of the spool patterns. But the two designers take their own, they take a basic pattern like the spool, and so there's 2 different quilt designs, 2 different pillows for each one of the designs. Here's the back of the book. Look at the house pillows. And there are pin cushions for each design. So I think there are 6 blocks, but then they each make a quilt out of the blocks, and they each make a pillow out of that block and a pin cushion. So, but this would make a darling pillow. So I've got that. This is from the Fat Quarter Shop Art Gallery Fabrics Spooky and Sweeter Fat Quarter Bundle. So this is just a cute, whimsical Halloween fabric. I don't know what I'll do with them. Again, this would be darling pillows. This would be a darling Halloween quilt to go with my other one. I could even add more of the jelly roll strips with the more traditional Halloween colors. Again, I have no idea. I just thought it was very sweet. Oh, the little boots. And so that is new. Art Gallery is Kay Fassett, Anna Maria Horner, Amy Butler. Someone told me Amy Butler is not designing fabric anymore. She used to be one of my favorites. Sorry for the noise. Art Gallery Fabric and that Lady Bell Fabric shop. Yeah, Lady Bell Fabrics. Look up Lady Bell Fabric Quilt Shop. You can tell them I sent you, but they won't know who I am. And so I got some Christmas fabric. I'm trying to plan ahead because I know a month before Christmas I'm going to want a Christmas quilt. I believe this is through Rifle. I can't remember who the designer is. I don't know if it's Cotton and Steel. I have no idea, but it's with Rifle Paper Company. Oh my goodness. And look at the gold shimmers. Look at that fabric. Yeah, almost, not all of them, but many of them have gold. Oh, this one has silver. Trees. The dancing people, I believe there's gold in there. Oh, look at that stripe. Has some gold. Oh my goodness. And these are pretty much the same fabrics, but in different colors. Oh, look at the blue. Oh, with the gold. Oh my goodness. That. So very exciting. I won't crinkle the bag again to put it away, but very excited about that. And I've always loved the idea of these Aurifil thread kits that certain designers put out. I have Tula Pink. I have at least one of her quilt pattern books, but I don't know. I've never purchased a full collection of her fabrics, but I believe I have yardage of some of her fabrics. So anyway, this is not necessarily meant to go with just her fabric, but it will go with lots of things that I plan on doing in my project bags and pillows and things like that. But I decided to get Tula Pink Curiouser and Curiouser, which is her new fabric collection, but I got the thread collection. So isn't that box just amazing? I mean, that was half the sale right there for me, was the gorgeous box. I mean, if that's her fabric, I should get some of that. So this slides out, and then you get two more, and then these open up. Into these gorgeous, gorgeous thread colors. Oops. They're wrapped in plastic, which I don't know why that's necessary, but there they are. There you can kind of see the colors. Gorgeous colors. I get great enjoyment out of simply just staring at these beautiful colors. So that was a purchase. See, I forewent. Is that past tense of forego? I forewent the Stephen West yarn along this year because I'm having too much fun getting back into quilting and stuff. So pretty much I think we're down to the last thing. So I decided to try this. I just heard about it probably on Instagram. Quilty box, and it's a fabric notions and inspiration. It's a mystery box, and I saw that they were doing K Facet, and so this was my live unboxing in the scrapped episode, and then I re-recorded it. But basically, you get a pattern, fabric, thread, and another little goodie of some kind. So this was the box that already opened, so it was K Facet. So that was the pattern booklet that came with it. Came with some 1/4-inch tape to guide your way. K Facet fabric. I don't know if it's enough to make a table runner. There's not that much there, but came with a cool needle tin, magnetic needle tin that matched, and some green thread. Oh, and there's a label. And I signed up for 3 months worth just to try it out. So these I have not opened yet. I've saved these just for you. So let's see, are we still recording? Yes, 59 minutes. Oh, Anna Maria Horner. This is the June 2021 box, and it's an applique. Oh my goodness. Honestly, her fabrics. So, gosh, this booklet is huge. Oh, so there's an interview with her. So it's not just the pattern. There's an interview with Anna Maria Horner. She's so cool. There's pictures of her other quilts. So this is an applique. It gives you border piecing for a cool border. Does the cover have? No, that one doesn't. So there are piecing options for different quilts. So there are a lot of, that's really cool. I like that a lot. Okay. Will I make that quilt? Probably not. But will I use her fabric? Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's open it up. Is this her new Bright Eyes fabric? Let's see, what is this? Oh, oh my. Yes. So these are fat quarters. Look. I can't even. I would make a shirt out of that. Look at that. Oh. And that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, look at this one. See, this is why I subscribe. I'm just here for the fabric. That's a fat 1/8, I'm assuming. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Let's see, some more Aurifil threads, a little soak sampler, needle threader. I don't know, I don't really use those, and templates if I'm actually going to do, well, for the applique project. Oh, and a label, handmade with love. That's cute. The last one came with a label too. Oh yeah, for me, totally worth just the fabric. Okay. I'm telling you, I've been saving just for you. Heather Bailey is the designer this month. This is May 2021. Now, I'd be more apt to make this quilt. So that's pretty cool. So let's see, Heather Bailey. It's all about her and the fabrics. Okay. Oh, and then they have a wall hanging choice. So, okay, so you get the featured project, plus they give you extra projects. So let's see, and that's an expensive booklet. I mean, this is a lot of pages, a lot of work went into that. Okay, teddy bears are not my thing, but this is the label. I won't be using that. Oh my. Really? Wow. Okay, so I watch a Quilting Life podcast. It's Sherry, well, right here, Sherry McConnell. This is her book. And Chelsea Stratton, her daughter. And she designed this book, and she's showing it off. It's a Quilting Life monthly Planner, a portable guide to getting and staying organized. We'll see how much I use this. I'm not sure. Social media sites, book must-haves, so to keep track of book purchases. Pre-cut size. Oh, I'm certainly not going to do this. This is basically like Ravelry, your stash, uploading your stash to Red. Absolutely not. Pre-cut size, type, and I have. Not happening. Lists and locate project planner, project pattern name, supplies. I have it. I need it. Well, that's a good idea. Quarterly planner. Okay. Monthly planner. Ruler inventory. Not going to inventory my rulers. Not going to inventory my planner. Anyway, maybe I could give this away. But if you are into organizing and planning and making notes of all your stuff, maybe check it out. So these are pretty fabrics. Yellow generally is not my thing, but look how pretty that is. Super pretty. Oh, I will totally use all these fabrics. Oh, look at the orange. Look at that. Oh, darling, oh, that's darling too. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that one. Again, I'm just here for the fabric, people. Oh, here's that same yellow, but in orange. I'd make a shirt out of that too. Let's see, yeah. Great fabrics, okay. Happy with it. Again, I've talked before, you know, ordering mystery kits or the mystery yarns. You usually don't know, but if they're using designers that I like, and I'm familiar with Heather Bailey. Oh, and there's a pencil. Stolen from my quilty box. So, and I think I did go for 3 more months of this, but then I canceled it. I mean, I just wanted to try it out, and it's fun. Okay, wow. I think that's it. I am sewing a jacket, but I won't show you that today. If you're interested in a free block of the month, I printed these out, and I've mentioned, pretty sure I mentioned last time, all of the extra fabric I'm getting from the Shine On block of the month. I mean, I cannot believe the amount of fabric that's left over. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll do this. This is free. You can go to a Quilting Life, her website, and she has these, she releases these. It's a block of the month for 2021. So this is January. So this is free, so it doesn't matter if you see the whole thing. You get options for a 6-inch block or a 12-inch block each month. So I figure I can use those Shine On fabrics, which are all of these colors. These are blocks. Well, you've already seen the colors because I did, hopefully, inserted a video. But I thought that would be a good use. And I want to use it as a bed or, you know, to take a nap under or something. So I think I might make 4 blocks each of the 12-inch blocks, and that should give me a nice full-size quilt. So that's January. So if you're interested, and this is free, you could make it bold and modern, use solids, you could use batiks, you could use total scrappy, whatever you wanted. That's February. And I don't know if she's doing an actual quilt along with it or what the deal is, but that's March. And actually really, so this is what I need to learn how to do. Look at the layout, the printing, the colors. So for my quilt design, I have no idea how to do this. I have no idea how to make this. I have no idea how to lay this out. Obviously you need a desktop publisher or something. I have no idea how to do these little guys with the pencil. So if you buy my pattern, it'll all be hand drawn in pencil. April. Here's May. And again, you could use any one of these blocks to make a whole quilt just on that block if a particular one's your favorite. You can make it scrappy. You can do, I wanted to do a row. Maybe if I did a row of the 6-inch, but I like the larger. You cover more ground if you make a bigger block. So there you go. That's an idea. A Quilting Life Block of the Month 2021 by Sherry McConnell. So that's it. Let's see. An hour and 9 minutes. Excellent. So if you have followed all along to this point, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have not subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. I don't overload you with videos, so you don't have to worry about that. Yes, the dogs bark in every single episode. Just comes with the territory. And that's about it for today. So happy gardening, crafting. I hope you're healthy. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep on crafting. Do what makes you happy. Bye.